in the end, are you gonna stick by like the one crush you have right now?
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. He's better than all of them.
He blocked me.
I didn't know that.
Hey Thethers, this is M.
And this is Yo. And this is Hither and Thither.
Are we good?
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, Tithers.
Happy New
New
Year.
Year's. Welcome to our first episode of 2026.
Although I'm excited to leave 2025 behind, it also does hold a very, very special place in my heart because Emily and I rekindled our friendship, and it's been the best thing of this year, honestly, that happened so far.
Yeah. It wasn't like lost time, it was more a time of growth. And so when I look back on 2025 and I think all of our happy moments, I think all of the sad moments, there was some difficult moments as well. But despite all of those things that happened, I think the most important thing that will make 2025 special for me was having you in my life. So thank you.
Oh. It's fun to have seen the growth that we both have had individually, and now how our growth happens together as friends, as Thethers. So I think that's why I'm so excited for 2026 as well. It's like getting to know us.
We're getting to go into it together. Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of like 25 years ago when I saw you in the staircase and said, "Hey, you're my best friend." And then you just were.
Yeah, and then
think
I was
it's
like,
the same
okay.
feeling.
That's exactly
Remember
how that
that?
happened again, honestly. That's so
Well,
funny.
I'm grateful that this year was good for us. Though there was a lot of good, there was some bad. And I want to say that although our episodes are always like lighthearted, this episode is going to be a little bit petty because this episode is about everybody who wronged me in 2025 or wronged us in 2025.
Wronged
So,
us.
you know what? All year I've been good. All year I've been nice. I guess maybe not, but all year I've shown my best self, and today I'm gonna give myself a break because it's the end of 2025 and I'm just gonna lash out.
Why not?
So, first off, 2025 was great because we started our podcast. Who would have thought, right? Because we've said this before, like everybody always talks about, let's do a podcast, and like it kind of just ends there, right? The conversation just ends there. But we were like, let's start a podcast. And then next conversation we had, we're like, okay, so what are we naming our podcast? And so I want to start off with the first thing that wronged me in 2025, which was the name of our podcast.
Even though at first we were like, oh yeah, this is so
This
good.
is the best thing.
This is so good.
And I
So
stand by
clever.
it still,
Yeah.
right?
I
Because
mean,
I
we
remember
kept it.
us having that conversation and you were like, like we call ourselves Thethers and like, you're here, I'm there, everything, it makes sense. And that was all fun and games until people were like, who's hither and who's thither? And I was like, first of all, that is not how you say it. But what was worse when somebody said, hit her and tit her.
And we were like,
So one of us hits and the other one tits. I mean, I guess you can only imagine who's who.
I'm just going to show you Buc-ee's real quick. I love Buc-ee's.
You see this bruise I got right here? That'll answer a couple questions.
I know.
Oh, that's not.
That's funny, dude. Along with that, though, when we first started our podcast, we were so excited to like start posting TikToks, and
Yeah, because
we
we
were
did our
like-
TikTok first.
yes, we did our TikTok. We wanted to gain some confidence, right? Like, oh yeah, we're gonna go viral tomorrow. like, And then we had like a follower that we, because everyone that had followers was like our friends, and we had sent them the link or whatever. But then we had one random follower, and her name was Vanessa, and
Vani.
we got so excited. We got so excited, and we were like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, Vanessa, like whatever."
She's
And
a
then we went,
teacher.
yeah, she's a teacher. Like, we appreciate her, blah, blah, blah. And then we went back to go check, and she had unfollowed us. So
She
that
was
also
not
was,
a teacher.
she was not a teacher. And now, so everyone who like is not a teacher, we just call them Vanessa's or Vani's.
Right. Yeah. So Vanessa, we have a friend called Vanessa, and so we called her Vani because we thought it was
Yeah.
like, like after our friend, we are like, oh, like she's cool, she followed us,
Yeah.
Vani. And then when she unfollowed us, we were like, Vanessa, wherever you are, come
Yeah.
back. Well, I want to say also, somebody who really wronged me this year, was my gym. Okay, like my that's like not a person, I guess, but like the gym owner or whatever, because I love to work out and I was doing so good every day, waking up at 4:30. I was at the gym by 5 o'clock. The gym was only a 5-minute drive from my house. So like that was so good. I was waking up, I was working out, I was coming home, getting ready, go to work. 6 p.m., I'm crashed out in bed, falling asleep. My routine was perfect. Okay. And
She
then
said I
one
was
day,
thriving.
I was thriving. I was living my best life. And then one day, like my friend at the front desk, he was like, "Hey, by the way, the gym lease is up, so we're gonna have to move." And at first I thought he was kidding, right? So I'm like, okay, like whatever. Anyway, lo
Like,
and
is it
behold,
April?
finally I see there's a sign because there had been zero communication from like the managers or anything like that, right? So finally, the weekend that it was going to close, there was a letter on the front door saying that the gym was going to close. It was supposed to be open 3 days later at the new location. 3 days passed, no communication, nothing. About 3 weeks passed, still no communication, no nothing. And then we finally get an email that says, "Hey, we're super sorry. Like, things happened. Some of these inspections didn't pass, da 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 da." And so they're like, in October, we're gonna like waive your fees, and in October, whatever you paid for September, mind you, this is in September. They're like, whatever you paid in September will go to the October fee, and then we'll be fine. So I'm here thinking that in October the gym will open, and at this point everything's still fine because I'm like, I need a break, like all is well. It was a tough time at work anyway. October comes around, no email, no communication. It is now December. The gym has still not opened. There is still no communication. And I just signed up for a new gym. Finally. So I'm feeling myself again. But Kinetics, you wronged me in 2025.
Yeah, for real. For real. I feel victimized by that too, because I went to that gym with you.
Yes, it was such a good gym too. But
It was fun.
whatever. We're not friends anymore.
I feel like something that's comparable to that of like the heartbreak that I got was my 2025 crushes. Because I think by this point we've all known that like I'm a little boy crazy, and like, so I fall in love easy. I wouldn't say fall in love, but I easily like guys, and I'm easily distracted. But this year, man, oh my goodness. Um, I think it has been a roller coaster of emotions this year. And it started
Mm-hmm.
very early on. Like my first crush this year or this past year was started in February, and then I didn't get over that until like September, maybe October.
Dang,
And then
really?
there was some overlap
Mm-hmm.
from August to November, and then there was some other overlap, some plot twist at the end of the year that was like November to whenever you guys I'll let you know when. But it's just it oh my gosh, like my heart this year with emotions and like in the romantic aspect has been up and down.
So
It's
are
been
we talking
crazy.
about 3 crushes that wronged you this year?
I feel wronged by 3.
3 different guys. So we're gonna go ahead and name them now.
Buzz Lightyear.
Buzz Lightyear.
El cacas. Just kidding.
El Cacas. Oh, that's 4.
Ay, who were you thinking?
Okay, pause.
Yeah, I guess there was 4. There was because all of them. The way I function. I don't know if it's healthy or not, but the way I get over someone is there has to be an overlap of somebody else. Like I have to move on to somebody else to move on from you. And so I guess everyone had a little bit of overlaps.
It has to be a little bit of overlap so that you can like, okay, I'm moving on. Okay, thanks,
Yes.
bye. Thank
Yes,
you, next.
100%. 100%.
That is so crazy. And I feel like, what do you think the conversation will be like if you sat and had dinner with all of them?
Honestly, I think they'd all be like, "Hey, what's up, bro?" Like, honestly, like, because some of them don't even know, but some of them know about each other, not knowing that they were also my crushes, like, so it's kind of interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic that I have going on. And maybe that's why it hasn't worked, but, nothing would happen. Truly, I don't think neither of them are too dramatic. Like I think they would just be like,
But
"Here
like
we are
on your
gathered."
part, like you're having dinner with all of them, right? You're looking at all of them, you're reminiscing, you're thinking about like special moments or whatever. And so you're like, in the end, are you gonna stick by like the one crush you have right now?
Oh yeah, 100%. He's better than all of them, all of them.
Oh,
He's so
hopefully
much
this
better
one's
than the
Mr. Right.
rest. We'll see. And if it's not, it's fine. Like, and I told this to my brother. I was like, if it doesn't work out with this guy, or like if nothing happens with this guy, it's kind of interesting that someone out there is better for me than him because he's pretty cool. And we hope for the best, but
Yeah.
I'm obviously I move on from people, so we're fine.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, let's see who's next. In the totem pole of those who wronged me in 2025, my next one is the charger that made me fall at school. So let me expand a little bit on this one. It was just a normal day in December, and I got really excited because I saw that one of the kids had just had a birthday and I had missed it. So I grabbed my little candy cane and I was going to go do my little delivery because I always like to give them candy for their birthday, right? So I walk on over to give my kiddo his candy. And as I walk in to a different classroom full of different students, one of those kiddos left a charger on the floor, to which my leg made contact with, and I fell not forward but backward. Okay? Talk about like, I
Feet up
tried
in
to
the air.
hold on for dear life. I don't know what. Like, I went down, hit my head on the board, ended up backwards. Like, I opened my eyes and I could just see like a bunch of eyes like looking at me. And I got up and I was like, all is well, guys. Anyway, I'm just here to give my announcement. and everybody's looking at me like, like, what is
Well,
your
you have our
problem? You
attention. Yeah,
know,
you have our
now you
undivided
have our
attention now.
attention. Now, mind you, another student that is going to be unnamed said, "Oh, thank you so much for that. I really needed it. Like, you really needed to laugh at me falling and dying. I could have died right in
That's right.
front of you."
You're like, you needed a
So
laugh
not
at
only
my
did the
expense.
charger wrong me, but those who laughed also wronged me. So
I would have wronged you if I saw it. I'm sorry. I definitely would have.
TBH, so did I. And then, like, how whenever things like that happen, like, you typically don't want everybody to know, but like, I didn't want anybody to be talking behind my back, so then I just went and told everybody. That way, like, if somebody told them,
Yeah.
they'd be like, "Oh, I
You're
already
like,
know,
oh
she
yeah,
told
she
us."
told me. Yeah. It's something that truly wronged me this year. And this is part of my crushes, I feel like, is my attachment style. I definitely think like I'm an avoidant attachment. I have an avoidant attachment style. And part of the reason why some of these crushes didn't work out is because when my crushes are like, oh, you look pretty, or oh, I would do this for you, I'd be like, why? Or like, thanks. Like, I'm just
Mhm.
so, I don't know. And so then they're like, oh, she's not feeling it. But I'm like, no, but I was. I'm sorry. I don't know why I treat you like this. Like, ah. So I feel like
Something you're
my
definitely gonna work on in 2026.
in 2026, yeah. If I want this other guy to like me, like if I'm serious about this other guy, I gotta change my ways, bro. I just have to, you know? But that yeah, those poor guys, in a sense, like I feel like they wronged me, but I think I wronged them as well.
Oh man.
Oopsies.
That's hard. Yeah, one thing that I've thought about a lot in 2025 is, how like sometimes I have said this quite a bit. We always look for somebody to blame. And so sometimes something happens to us and we can only see it from our perspective when we don't see it the way the other person is feeling. And that was one really big thing for me in 2025 that I realized, you know what? Like, this person is constantly making me feel this way, or I'm choosing to allow them to make me feel that way, but I can also choose not to let them make me feel that way. And so there was a couple of relationships or friendships, I mean, that I think kind of dwindled or fizzled off, and it still like makes me really sad that I I do feel at fault for kind of letting those relationships kind of just fizzle away. Like I said, I do feel like that's my fault, but I also felt wronged in a way. I fully like realized that I wronged people by not communicating, because like I'm really good at like voicing my concerns and things like that. But in some ways I kind of just felt like, like I've been really open to certain things, and whenever you don't reciprocate that back, like you put all your effort and you give all your love to certain people and you get nothing in return, and then you just end up being the bad person because you let that relationship die. I've always been the type of person to like reach out. Like I'm always going to text you, I'm always going to call you, I'm always going to be there. But you get to a point where you're like, it's always me, And
Mm-hmm.
so even though I know that I wronged them, I'm not looking to blame anybody. I take full accountability by admitting that, like I let our friendship fizzle off. I do feel wronged by, just the communication, because this about me, I'm super needy. I'm super needy. I need people to show that they care about me because I have hardcore abandonment issues. Like that's just the reality. And so even though I don't expect your attention 100%, when I'm the one always putting in the effort and I'm getting nothing in return, I do feel wronged by that.
That's fair. No, that's fair. And you know what? As someone with an avoidant attachment, um, I can fully see and understand why people feel like that sometimes. But sometimes I'm like, man, like I didn't mean to make you feel like that. I just sometimes I struggle, and I'm not excusing anyone, like, and neither did I think you were throwing those things at me because I know the stories that you're sharing. But I'm like, man,
But the
like
shoe
I
fit.
wish, but the shoe fit for real. But I'm like, man, like it hurts to hear that maybe some people might have felt hurt by the way that I treated them out of
Mm-hmm.
fear or out of like just it was too much for me at the time or whatever, instead of just
Mm-hmm.
being flat out communicative, like, hey, I'm about to step out, but I know that this has nothing to do with you, but bye. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and we all do as best for ourselves, but I think, like, like you said, even though it does hurt to hear it, I think that's still the reality, like people are still going to be like, like we used to talk a lot, or like,
yeah.
at some point we'll be like, well, I haven't called this person for a year, but in the whole year, they never called me, you know? And so, I think like even when you and I stopped talking for, I'm gonna say a little bit, but I know it's not a little bit. When we stopped talking, like I would constantly tell myself things like that. Like, well, like sometimes people are here for different seasons. They're here for different reasons. But like, I don't know. I also think that it doesn't have to be that way.
I
It
agree.
doesn't necessarily have to be that way. Um,
No, it's
yeah.
a legit choice. No, it's a legit choice to keep people in your life or not. And no one and that's another thing that's important, right? Like you can choose to have people in your life or not. So keep the good and don't keep the bad. Like it's a
Mm-hmm.
choice. Like along with like, oh, I want to keep friends. Please don't keep friends that are bad for you. Like it's a choice. It's such a
Mm-hmm.
choice. So that's
Or
kind of how I feel
boyfriends.
about that. Or
Or
any
boyfriends.
relationship at
Boyfriends and
that. Yeah.
girlfriends. Yeah, because
And
like sometimes too. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and family. Like, dude,
That's the tough one. That's a tough one, but I think you're absolutely right, because sometimes we're so, and we talked this a bit we talked about this a little bit earlier, right? Like we want to say like, oh, such and such did this to me and they hurt me, but like they're my family, right? It's my mom, it's my sister. What am I supposed to do? Well, you can always set some boundaries, right? Setting
yep.
boundaries is always healthy,
Yep.
and it doesn't mean that you love the person less or you hate the person more. It just means that you're choosing yourself. And I think that's the one thing that like everybody always talks about in the new year, right? New year, new me. This year I'm choosing me. Everybody's always like saying these things, but like, how are you actually putting those things into practice? We kind of
100%.
just allow these things to happen to us, um, despite the fact that we know it's going to hurt us, despite the fact that we know that it's going to alter our lives in some sort of way. It's like we're making the choice to allow ourselves to be sad or angry.
Hmm. Yeah. Um,
And with that,
I'm gonna, I know, I'm gonna switch up the mood a little bit because, um, I want to say a couple other things that really wronged me this year. My sleep schedule, dude, this year. Speaking of like moods and how you treat people, oh my gosh, I think I've been a terrible person because I'm lacking so much sleep. Um, I slept for I think 2 to 3 hours most nights, and then 16 for like like 2 to 3 hours 4 nights, and then the next was like 16, and it was awful. My sleep schedule was so awful, and I was up at 6 in the morning, barely falling asleep, had to be up by 8 or 9, like so dumb. It
mm-hmm,
was the most ridiculous thing. But really, one thing that one thing that I learned the most from, or I guess that got the most motivation from being wronged by this, was the hills on the National Cemetery where we went to in DC.
oh,
Dude,
Arlington.
yes. Those hills got me so bad. so bad. Like, I literally was running out of breath. I was like, I'm not built for these hills. And two, I am in no way, shape, or form like in shape for these hills. Like, what the heck? But I was like dying on those hills. I was like, oh my
But like,
gosh,
so
like,
were they.
yes, but you were running. Like, I don't know how you were doing that. You were running up the hill. And I was like, what is going on? I mean, okay, maybe my diaphragm wronged me in 2025, but oh my gosh, like, what the heck?
I think the last person that, and this one, I'm gonna use all my composure and my best etiquette and my best self to talk about this last person who wronged me in 2025. It is a person by the name of Chet. First of all, what kind of name is Chet? Is
Either.
it short for Cheeto? I don't know. This person who wronged me not personally, but wronged me online. And I want to talk a little bit about that because, as I have mentioned many times before, I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And for most people, when you think about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and you think about geographically where most people are located, you would probably say something like
Utah.
Utah. Correct. Now, I saw an article on Instagram that said that Utah was no longer the state with the most members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You will see a picture of that here. Okay? So I saw it, and in my head, I'm thinking, when people think about the church and people think about Utah, they think about things like the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and the True Life of Mormon Wives, or what is that called? The Secret
Secret
Life of
Life.
Mormon Wives. And they think possibly of people like Chet, okay? And because apparently Chet is some sort of like reality TV star that, for one, I have never heard of. Have you ever heard of Chet?
No.
I've never heard of this person. Anyway, so I made a comment on this post, and typically, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'll always start commenting on these things and then I erase them because I'm like, ah, whatever, like my opinions don't even matter. Like, I'm just such a small speck of dust that, like, what I have to think, like, why would I share that with the world? But this time, I felt very strongly about this because, like I said, like, I love my beliefs, and I hate seeing how so many people trash on what I believe in online. And so I made a comment on that post saying, yeah, or that makes sense that a lot of the true believers of this gospel would leave Utah, because personally, I think that Utah culture is very toxic. Again, the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is not an accurate description of our church. The True Lives of Mormon Wives is not an accurate description of me as a wife. The soda thing, where they're always like drinking soda, like, I don't even drink soda. Like, that's just not a reality. And people tend to think like, oh, you're Mormon, you must have 10 wives. And like all of these things, or 10 moms, all of these things come from like what people see online or the culture that comes from Utah. Anyway, backstory was really long backstory, but I like made a comment saying that makes sense that that would happen because there's so, like, what the church used to be is not what the church is now. Why does Chet go and blame me for saying, like, you're such a toxic anti-Mormon, you are so sad for believing this? And I was like, bruh, first of all, you have no idea who I am. I made one comment and you made 1,000 assumptions about me, and you put it all for everybody to see. Anyway, so
Yeah.
I ended up making this comment that said something like, thank you for proving me right, that people like you are what make
Truly.
members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints look bad. He blocked me.
I didn't know that. I didn't know he blocked you.
Yeah, he blocked me. So anyway, I guess, I feel like if he and I had a conversation, we could probably come up with the same conclusion. But Chet, you wronged me in 2025. So shame on you.
For real. You could have been a Tither. I mean, you
Yeah,
still
we could
can.
have been friends. So I don't know what to tell you, but maybe you can unblock me, I guess.
We can
I
have a
don't know.
conversation.
2026 will be a better year.
Um, Honestly though, although it was hard, some things that I think that I'm taking into next year is just like I'm not holding grudges on anybody, even though I'm currently working through that. Not holding grudges is something that I'm wanting to, or that I grew from this past year. So,
Yeah, for me, it's something that I always try to work on is not taking things so seriously because in reality, nobody cares. And those people who do care, like, they probably need to do something better with their lives. Because especially, like we putting ourselves like out here on like YouTube and social media and stuff, like that's hard and that can definitely get to you. Um, I know for me in the beginning, it was also like, man, like I have communication with this person every single day and like we're really good friends. And not once did you ever bring up anything like, hey, I saw that you started a podcast or like, hey, like it's so cool or hey, I subscribed. No sort of communication. Like there was a lot of people in my life like that. And you you kind of like take it to heart, but then I realized nobody cares, right? Like and I don't mean this
yeah.
in a bad way. I just mean it like who cares if they don't support you? Who cares if somebody thought, "Oh, they look stupid," or who cares if somebody because just like somebody thinks it's stupid, somebody else might think it's great. And I don't know, I just think that like putting ourselves out there has made me learn a lot of things about not to care as much what people have to say in terms of negative, but like just focus on those people that are cheering you on. And even if you don't have a podcast, right? Just like in anything in life, anything that you do, I don't know, like it's hard to not focus on the negative, but it definitely makes life a lot easier when you just focus on the things that make you happy. When you really truly
Yep.
just focus on you, what you want to do and where you like want your life to go. Cuz the best feeling for me is always like looking back and being like, "Wow, I did that. I worked real hard and I accomplished what I wanted." So looking into 2026, I just hope to have a lot more of that. A lot of more moments where I can like just be like, I did that and I'm very proud of myself.
I think also like some of our goals that we were talking about earlier is just like, how can we get more people to listen? How can we avoid the Vanessas, right? Um, so one of our goals for me and Em have been like to focus a little more on God in our personal lives. Not necessarily on the podcast. Like, yes, share it liberally in the podcast, but also in our personal lives, like make sure that we're doing our scripture study, make sure that we're like putting God first, make sure that like we're putting him above everything, and then ask for his advice, pray with gratitude when those things work out, and then mm, reach 100 listeners. In 2026 we want to reach 100 listeners, but of course we kind of joked last night and we were like the K is silent, um because nonetheless, like, of course we want to reach many listeners, but in the end we just know that if we focus on God and if we focus on the right things, like, we will remain well through success or not, or unsuccess. being successful and unsuccessful. So I don't know. I just think that's the most important thing in our lives, and that we have learned to take into 2026. It's like God. God comes first, and honestly, mic drop. That's it. And with that being said, make sure you guys comment, like, and subscribe so you can help us reach our goal. And happy New Year. I hope that you guys reach your goals, and we will see you in the next week. Adios.
Adios.